This video covers 2.2 linear equations using the properties together. Objective 3. Solve a linear equation with the variable on both sides of the equation. In example 5, we will notice that the 3x is on the left and the 5x is on the right. When solving any linear equation, our goal is to always have the x on one side and the number on the other side, or vice versa. We don't really mind if the number's on the left and the x is on the right, but we want the x's on one side and the numbers on the other. With that goal in mind, that means I don't want the 5x on the right-hand side. So I can get rid of it by subtracting it. 5x minus 5x is 0. And what I do to the right side, I must do to the left side. I've canceled that so that on the left side, 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. And I still have the 4, and now I have the negative 8. So in order to get rid of the 5x on the right, I had to subtract it. Now I solve this by undoing the positive 4, or the addition of 4, by subtracting 4. Negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. The left side's negative 2x. And now we have negative 2 times x, so we divide by the coefficient of x, which is negative 2. That gives us 1 times x, or just x, equals negative 12 divided by negative 2, which is positive 6. So now that we've seen the possibilities, solving an equation in one variable, we know we need to remove any parentheses using the distributive property. If we have any like terms on each side or on the same side, then we combine them. Then we use this addition property of equality to get the terms with the variable on one side of the equation and the constants on the other. So that was what I was saying in the other objectives, where I said we must always undo the addition portion first, and then step 4, use the multiplication property of equality to get the coefficient of the variable to be 1. And then, as always, you can check your solution to verify that it satisfies the original equation. Here are 2 practice problems for you to try. I encourage you to press pause on your video, work these out at your own pace, and when you're ready, come on back and see how these are worked out. Okay, now that you've had a moment to pause your video and work these out on your own, I'll work these out with you. In practice 4, we have a 6m minus 11 on the right, 10m plus 3 on the left. Typically, we get all our variables on the left and numbers on the right. With that in mind, I don't want the 6m on the right-hand side, so I'll subtract it from the right and from the left. Cancel it from the right. And then from the left, 10m minus 6m is 4m. I still have the plus 3 and the minus 11. So now we always use the addition property of equality first. We undo the positive 3 by subtracting 3. Negative 11 minus 3 is negative 14. And I have 4m equals negative 14. So with 4m equals negative 14, we must divide by 4 on both sides of the equation. When I divide by 4 on the left, it gives me m. When I divide by 4 on the right, it gives me, that's a fraction. So we simplify it. 2 goes into 14, 7, and 2 goes into 4 twice. Practice 5 has the parentheses in it, so we must use the distributive property before we get started with anything. 3 times 2 is 6x, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Now we see on the left side we have like terms, so we combine those. Negative 9x plus 6x, we combine the coefficients of x. Negative 9 plus 6 would be negative 3. And now we have x's on both sides of the equation. We undo the x's on the right-hand side by adding 2x to both sides. I add 2x to the right and add 2x to the left. Negative 3x plus 2x is negative x. Everything else stays the same. And now we're left with 2 steps. We undo the minus 9 first by adding 9. Negative 10 plus 9 is negative 1. And now we undo the coefficient of x, which is a negative 1. We divide by negative 1 on both sides, and we get x is equal to 1. This concludes the video on section 2.2, objective 3, solve a linear equation with the variable on both sides of the equation.